Hi friends, this is Professor Madhumita Chattopadhyay from Jadavpur University Department of Philosophy. I want to discuss with you Diṅnāga's theory of inference. We all know that within the Buddhist tradition, Diṅnāga is a pioneering figure who laid the foundation of the Buddhist theory of inference. Here I am planning to discuss with you different aspects of Diṅnāga's theory of inference. Of the two varieties of valid cognition, pramana admitted by the Buddhists, namely perception and inference, inference is regarded as that variety in which, on the basis of information of something perceived, one proceeds to have information regarding some unknown object. This nature of anumana is reflected in the very etymology of the term. The expression anumana is derived from two expressions anu and manam, which respectively mean subsequent and cognition. Since the expression subsequent has a temporal connotation referring to something happening later, the question naturally arises, what is it that precedes inference? The answer is perception of the province and remembrance of the relationship between the province, that is the hetu, and the probandum, that is the saddha. In the inference, the most important role is played by the province, which is generally known as the hetu or the linga. It is by virtue of its relation with the sadhya that the hetu can lead to the knowledge of the sadhya. Accordingly, as a prelude to actual inference, it is necessary to have clear idea about the kind of relation that holds between two things such that one becomes the province or the hetu capable of establishing the other as the sadhya. The determination can be made only in the actual field of experience where the two are found or not found together. The particular case or cases which illustrates or exhibits the relation of a hetu with its saddha is known as drishtanta. But when a particular inference is made, the situation in which the hetu is found but the saddha is to be determined is known as the poksha or the locus. For example, when a person finds a gust of smoke coming out of a house, he at once comes to know that the house is on fire and he calls the fire brigade or takes necessary step in this regard. This knowledge of the fire is regarded as inference because here fire is not perceived. It is arrived at on the basis of his perception of smoke and his remembrance that smoke is closely related with fire, which he had previously experienced in number of cases, as for instance in the kitchen. Thus, in this example, the hetu is the smoke, saddha is fire, and poksha is the house, and the drishtanta is the kitchen. This shows that the concepts of hetu, sadhya, poksha and drishtanta are closely connected in an inference, and hence to understand the nature of inference clearly, it is necessary to make these concepts clear. Diṅnāga in his theory introduced an important classification of inference, namely inference for oneself, swarthanumana, and inference for others, pararthanumana. When one has indirect knowledge of an object for one's own sake, it is called swarthanumana. When one wants to convey one's own inferential knowledge to another person, one has to use an argument. This argument is known as pararthanumana. Pararthanumana being an argument is a kind of verbal expression. It is not itself knowledge. However, Buddhist logicians call it inference in a derivative sense, as it is meant to cause inferential knowledge in the other person. Let us now have a look at the important terms involved in the model of Anumana. The most important term or element is the hetu. It is on the basis of the perception of a province in the locus, that is dhormi, that one can have knowledge of the probandum in the inference. In the above example, smoke is the hetu, because when the person has perceived smoke in the house, which is the dhormi, then alone he can infer the existence of fire and otherwise not. But anything perceived cannot be regarded as a hetu of another thing. Diṅnāga points out that every good or sound province must possess three features, and in this sense the hetu is called as Trirupo. In his Pramana Samuccaya, he states the three features as follows. Number 1, existence in the locus. Number 2, existence in other instances similar to the locus. And number 3, non-existence in the cases dissimilar to the locus. The second important term is sadhya. It is that which is going to be established in the inference. Sadhya stands for the object as possessed of the property, dharmo vishishto dhormi. This is considered to be the primary meaning of the term. However, sometimes the word shraddha is used for the property rather than the property possessor. Hence, when fire is known to be in the house on the basis of smoke coming out of it, primarily the house possessed of fire is said to be the shraddha. Secondarily, fire is said to be the shraddha. Accordingly, in the Punjika, which is a sub-commentary on the text Nyayapravesha of Diṅnāga, it has been said that since the sadhya stands for the collection, samudaya, of the property and its bearer, the sadhya character is attributed in the secondary sense to the property alone, dharmamatra, or to the property bearer, dhormi, because both of them are parts, ekodesha, of the collection.